you're not gonna answer, it's okay. I just want to understand. I'm going to throw a few questions from what I've got here. And then, like I said, if you want to answer, you will. Just keep it short because I want to release you. You're going to an AIDS engagement. There's a famous picture of you. And you were lying or holding a book, and there's a picture of you with AK, and you've been associated with this. And you seem to be like the only, even though you're not the only one who struggled, you are only one with seen as, with military fatigue. You are seen as that. In short, just explain why you were tied in that picture, what had happened in the day. In short, just so.
Oh, that day was one of the most difficult days because we had been traveling from Kampala to the camps, and our car broke down on the way, and we were like almost 40 or so kilometers away from the camp, and the car broke down, and then we had to walk all that way to the camp, and we were walking in a hostile area. Fortunately, part of the road towards, there was a camp of Uganda there, Ugandan soldiers and all. To arrive there and be received there when we are not known is also a danger zone. But they received us because they knew that MKK does always pass by car there. They kept us there just for about an hour or so, and then they said to us, we have to leave and we have to walk. That picture was taken after that long walk. The sun had burnt me. You can see my skin, I was burnt. And then when I got to the camp, obviously when you get to the camp after some disaster like that, you have to answer for yourselves. How did this happen? Because it could have put you in danger. It could have put the comrades also in danger in the camp. But they understood. And because I wasn't one who lived in the camp, I think the people who suffered for it most were the soldiers who were in fatigue and all. Me, I was a soldier, yes, but I was in a civilian space. And so when I got there, I was waiting to hear what was going to be said to them. And maybe I was going to be called to be asked, how did this happen? So I was sitting there in that, because we had dwellings, what we call dwellings. There were a few houses there, but funny houses, but there were dwellings where we dug and lived in them. So that photo was taken by my husband, who was not my husband then, was just a boyfriend. And because I was allowed the camera at the time, I'm the one that used to take the pictures. But even taking the pictures was very specific. We couldn't take pictures anyhow. So I asked him to take that picture. And at the time, actually, I wasn't even seeing that the AK, the folding part was next to me for some reason. It was later when I went printing that, this was his AK, the folding part, because it was the commanders that carried the small ones that are folding. Us, we carried the long ones. So that photo was taken on that day because I wasn't very happy with myself. I was very scared. I was still waiting to hear whether there was going to be punishment for what had happened to us. And as you remember, I said earlier on, I used to read every little corner where I found some. That book, you can't see it, but I remember that book. It's a Russian book, Anna Karenina, which I read in Russian. And now the book was there in the camp in English. That's the book I was reading at the time.
Thank you very much. Your story, of course, the crossing and being educated in Swaziland, almost similar to Comrade TZ Tamizulu.
Yes.
It was Tamizulu's parents were educated, headmasters and stuff, and they took a decision to school him in Swaziland. And then this is where he got this orientation, almost similar like you. In short, the reason I want you to answer in short is because we've got a lot of questions for you to answer, and apologies because I'm going to cut it because I need to release it. What are your memories of uZulu, even if it's narrative heard from secondary people and stuff?
Well, I never met him. And the thing is, you remember also once you get to MK, you use different names.
Yes.
So the Zulu was not even an issue at the time because my name was Nomzeheu. That was the name that was given to me. So I never met him, but I heard of him. I heard of his intellectual capacity. I heard of his commitment and all that. I heard of him, but I heard of him quite late because remember I went to school.
Yes.
I went to varsity before I went into MK. And also my time within MK never enabled me to do any form of operation where I could have come across him or could have come. I just didn't hear much about him except for, of course, what we heard later on about how he died and how that was never explained, which was very unfortunate. But personally, I just had no connection whatsoever.
Thank you. So he's regarded as like the most charming. Ronika says he was very handsome, and the intellect, of course. I think a lot of people loved it.
I think in the main, for us, for those of us who heard about him, it was more about his intellectual capacity of being able to do analysis and all that. Yeah, we all heard about him.
Yes, and because of his, and they said a lot of people started seeing him as a rival. There's an issue here of him being liked by what people called the Xhosas at the time, the Xhosa Nostra thing. It came back when you guys were back in government, and there was a unit called Mbogoto. This Mbogoto was mainly in KZN, and Jacob Zuma alleged to be one of those who were running Mbogoto. Was Mbogoto under the, operatives under MK, or it was just a separate thing?
There couldn't have been anything operating outside of uMkhonto weSizwe.
Okay.
Remember I said to you, my experience of the ANC and my experience of uMkhonto weSizwe was very organized. Not without fault.
Yes, of course.
No. Was very organized because my experience of it throughout, every step that I took and every place that I was brought into, I saw organization. Obviously, when you are a trainee, we are arriving, you don't know what happens somewhere, some other places. I don't think there could have been anything outside of uMkhonto weSizwe allowed. All units that were there had to be units that were under uMkhonto weSizwe. I see that there's some comrades who have written a number of books, and I think that it's important for us to go into those books and get to go into the inside, because I think a lot of operations, the story hasn't been really told, because you speak about Mbogoto. What did you say?
Mbogoto, because they put it versus the tribalism, because it was mainly based in KwaZulu-Natal. Tammy coming from from Soweto. Jacob Zuma, one of the things, he was not happy with him being appointed to be a